Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. I'm here with.
Uh, my name's Conman. I played Libromancer at the remote duel regional flights, and I got second place with this
All
list.
right, awesome. Let's go ahead and get into it. So start with your
Cool.
main.
Cool.
All right.
So I start by playing 3 Geek Boy. You can sometimes play this at 2. I typically side the third out if I'm really needing space. It's really bad to draw Geek and the field spell because this I only play the field spell, so you have no other targets. Um, 3 Fire, best, really like the best one. Searches you every single Libra name you need. Um, it's just really good. 1 Agent, good for recycling, and you can get your Doombroker out with just it. Um, Typically, I'll get this on turn 1 or 3 and just get like Fire or Geek back. But you can also add the spell traps back to hand and put one on the bottom. That's the only main deck non-ritual Libros I play. I play 3 Diviner, really good, sends you Entes or Arclight, and is a pop or ritual name respectively. This build I'm playing 1 Manju because you can play, because with Hulk being banned, having access to a rank 4 toolbox is pretty good. Um, didn't really go into it much, but it came up once, although I think it just got nibbed right after. So,
Yeah, her
um,
Dweller's really good this format, so you know.
yeah, I just did Plan B because I didn't want to play into Nib,
Yeah, that's
but
fair.
then this time I'm playing DD Sprite. So this is my tech of choice, because what you can do is with Mystic Girl, you can tribute Diviner for her, and then use her effect to summon Sprite from your hand or deck, and that allows you to go with Geek Boy here into Herald of the Arclight. I'd maybe swap this for Buten because Buten lets you turn a 4 or lower fairy, so which conveniently is Mystic Girl, into a tuner. It's just another card that lets you have some other like plays or interactions that are kind of cheeky. This just doesn't do anything, and
It's
it
kind of
got
like an extender, right? Doesn't it like banish to someone from hand, something like that?
Yeah, well, what you have to do is you have to banish, for a DD Sprite, you have to banish a card you control to special summon it from your hand. The issue is this text is actually outdated. They nerfed this card, so you have to wait. So it says, I believe, on this one, it says during the next standby phase, you have to wait for your next standby phase before the monster comes back. Because we were crafting in the Libro server, you have Barone out because you can go Diviner, send Herald, and then go with Fire to Barone. You After you use the negate, you DD Sprite Barone so that it'll reset in the next standby phase. But because it's your next standby phase instead of the next standby phase, um, it sucks because now
That's really
you're,
unlucky.
yeah. I don't know why they did that. It's really silly. Next we'll go to the ritual names that I play. Um, Two Doom. You can get away with playing one. I like just having another one to be able to poke with. If you see both, you can tribute something from your hand and then tribute Doom for Doom to be able to attack direct. So it's pretty neat. But definitely playing one's okay. Um, Fireburst. I really like this card. I This card enables you to OTK. There have been many games where I'll have these two in hand, and I'll finish something, and I'll get Nibiru'd. And you can use the Nibiru token for this, which will then one it. So you nib token for this. Previously, I've done Agent for Doom. So this can attack direct. So you attack direct, clear the token, and then attack for the rest, and just clean them. It's
That's
really
nice.
good.
Yeah.
Actually, today it has its other effect is that when an attack is declared, you can banish a Libromancer ritual from your grave, and it will gain 200. And that came up because my opponent was trying to get a, I want to say it was an Exosister name, so they made Lina. They declared an attack into this, and so then I banished Doombroker, and it became exact lethal. which
That's
was very
actually
nice.
really insane.
Yeah. Mr. Girl, this is just another name to be able to get for Diviner. There have been, without playing this, I have had way too many times where I have an additional ritual search, and I just don't know what to use it on. Previously, I played Illusion of Chaos, but you'll see why I don't play that here in a second. Um,
It's also really good
and
as
I'm
a light
just,
fairy because Ben 10 can add
yeah,
it.
Benton can add it. Technically, Diviner can pitch it, and Agent can then fetch it from Grave, which I haven't had a use for that yet, but I'm sure there's something there with getting another name if you need one. Um, yeah, and then it has the Oh, previously I did also use this with Fireburst, not at this event, but at a local. I special summon this targeting Exciton Knight, and then I use Fireburst to beat over it for 56, because Mr. Girl negates effects and makes the attack 0. When it's special summoned. So off of the trap card intervention, if this is in your graveyard and you special summon this back, it'll trigger the effect veil or whatever negate you want to call it. It's really handy. I just wish that there was more uses for it because it has some, I think, just targeting protection. Yeah, you can't target ritual monsters if you use it on field, but I wish there was a better reason to play it than I want a level 1 tuner.
Yeah.
Then I play 3 Ben 10 because it switches this, it switches Divine, it switches Manju, and it's a perfect level for Doombroker in hand. Ignore the fact that I have 3 different rarities. I have another Lost Art, but I don't want to open it. And it just went back to 3, so it shot up in price.
Yeah, how did that feel? Did it feel good?
It was like, it would really suck too, because the night before the ban list dropped, I was like, you know what? I kind of want to rarity bump and buy this. And then I didn't. And then it got hit, and then it went up to like over $10.
Yeah, I definitely felt that before.
Yeah, that's the main monsters I play. Then hand traps, 3 Ash. With Sprite being hit pretty hard, hand traps I think are going to be a bit better than they were, because if you played against Sprite, you just like can lose, because you can play through like as many hand traps as you could go throw at them. So like this can negate Hoffness if you draw it going first. So being able to play without the threat of Tear Lament is nice.
Yeah, Tier is super popular this weekend, like
Yeah,
everywhere.
it was pretty popular at my locals too. I unfortunately can't attend right now, so I have to do remote events. But it's still definitely good. It did not get hit on the list at all. 3 Nib. This came up a lot of times. There was one Sprite player who played into it, but I didn't see Nib, unfortunately. But again, like you contribute this for Fireburst, like even both the token you could get if your opponent nibs you, and this for it. And then I play the 1 Scythe because you can Scythe in this deck many ways.
With Barone, yeah. I mean,
Or you can
just
go
like search
Barone.
Ben 10, set it, Barone pop it, summon a standby, like
Yeah,
yeah.
you can Elf target
Yeah.
Diviner send Entis pop Scythe.
Yeah.
I play Tornado Dragon in this build. That never came up, but you can Tornado Dragon with Scythe, target your
Yeah.
own Scythe.
Especially with the extra deck space you have, like you can
Yeah, this
literally
deck,
whatever you want.
pretty much, it's all utility. I'll move on to the spell traps. Very first appearance. This is your ritual spell. Um, Kind of sucks that it's a field spell because if you get MST'd on activation, you can't do anything. It's a hard once per turn activation. Activate it, search a monster, a Libromancer. It has to be different than the ones you control, which isn't really an issue. But it's kind of. We need another spell. We need another good spell to search because there's an actual ritual spell that you can technically pre-prep it, but it's not worth it. And then there's also a continuous, which makes you a token, but you'd rather tribute stuff that gets you effects than the straight token.
Right.
3 E-Telly. Geek Boy is a psychic, a level 3 psychic. So getting this to get to the field spell is very, very important. Then I play 3 Prosperity. This is the reason why I don't play Illusion of Chaos. I think if you play the deck and you want a good draw engine, you should either play Prosperities or Illusion of Chaos. Illusion of Chaos is arguably better because not only is it a potential draw two, it's also another ritual name to reveal all of your Libromancer stuff. So
It's also
before I had the
searchable, which is
yeah,
insane.
it's also searchable with prep. Ben 10
Diviner.
or not Ben 10,
Well,
sorry,
I mean,
Diviner,
Benton
Sin
by
Heartlight.
proxy is a diviner.
Yeah, but I decided to play Prosperity because it lets you dig instead of 2 cards. It lets you dig 6 cards, which can be really really good. Yeah, and the reason why you can't play them both is because this card says you can't draw by card effects the turn you use it. So you have to pick one or the other. If you need a good draw engine, pick this or pick IOC. And then I got pretty much bullied into playing prep. Um, I took this out originally for prosperity. I had Tikaboo in this place.
We're
All right,
back.
we're
There's a
back.
slight technical
Nothing happened.
difficulties, but you know.
Yeah, I don't know where we were when it froze, but as I was saying, I got bullied into playing prep here. This used to be there can be only one. If I had to play this event again, and I had the exact same hands, I might play it over this. There was one game where I drew 2 of this card in my opening hand, and there can be only one probably would have been a better hand than 2 of this card. So
Yeah.
this is definitely not a bad card by any means. If you don't have access to Prosperity, you definitely play this alongside IOC and the Illusion of Chaos Magician Soul stuff.
Yeah, that just sounds insane. Being able to search it so
Yeah.
easily.
Yeah, and then because I used to play the Dogmatica version as well. So you would activate this, get whatever, and then you can get the Dogmatica ritual spell back. But so in that version, it's nuts. And then I just play Called By as the final. Final spell is Called By. You see it. You don't. Then for traps, I play Intervention and Displaced. Intervention is a must. This is your Omni Negate. You target a ritual, a Libra ritual, bounces to the hand to negate an effect. It does not negate activations, which is both a blessing and a curse. Because I really wish this card was a counter trap. I really do. Because they can.
Mystic Mine.
It does not stop any continuous effect. It doesn't destroy. It only negates the effect. So it'll stop your hand traps. It'll stop. Really good use of this is if they activate Dark Ruler or Droplet, preferably Droplet, I guess, because they Droplet send however much. Not many people are going to send a trap, meaning you're able to still respond to this. So that's really good. Where you normally like pre-ban list, you would get Barone and like 2 or 3 other. So you'd have like Barone, the ability, or you'd have Arclight, the ability to get to Barone on their turn, and then also have this potentially, and it was nuts. But Halk is now gone. Saddest, smallest violin. Displaced. I'm playing because there's still some Sprite going around. I played a bit of Sprites. Sometimes I just didn't have really good hands against them. I've drawn either one or both of these a lot, which you never want to draw. That's why they're one-ofs. Because you can set them with the Doombroker, which plays around Ash. Forgot to mention that. Doombroker sets from the deck. So you can't... It sets one of these from the deck. And it can't be Ash because Ash doesn't say set.
Yeah, that's the steel one, right?
Yeah, this is the... So I can target a Libromancer monster I control. Doesn't have to be a ritual. And you return your guy to the hand. And then you have to target your ritual or your card, their monster.
Right.
It bounces to your hand and you take control. And if you didn't bounce a ritual monster, it'll return to the hand during the end phase. And I actually had a match. I don't think it was in this regional flight, but I displaced their fusion, I think. And during the end phase, it went back to their hand instead of to field, and they
Nice.
they went to the next game after that. So that was pretty fun.
A little better than Widowmaker sometimes.
Yeah. Also, during my one of my final rounds against Exosister, their normal summon, I just displaced it because it's not a quick effect, and they went next turn. So, right, I guess I'll go on to extra deck next. One Entis, you can probably play two. Playing two is definitely better when Hulk was around because it was more consistent. You'd get to Elf and be able to summon back Diviner to send Entis for a pop, but this tournament, like this entire weekend, I don't think I made Elf once, actually. But it's still, Elf is definitely something you include here.
Hmm.
I played two Arclight. Before I got DD Sprite, I only played one of these because you just send it off Ventus, and you there's no way to make the second one.
But now you
And
hard
I
make it.
was yeah. So like before ban list, I would send one and then make the other. But now, and then after immediately after, I didn't have a way to make one, so I would just play the one to get the search off of Diviner. But now that I can make it again with Sprite, which again should be Buten instead to add utility, um, yeah. And again, this is just another Omni Negate. It's a Floodgate as well.
It's so busted.
Any
Sometimes it
monsters,
just makes people go next game, especially against
yeah,
tier.
yeah, like any monster sent from the hand or field, or not field, sorry,
Deck.
hand or main
Technically
deck
hand, yeah.
goes to the hand or main deck,
Yeah.
which is an important clarification because Diviner can still activate and send from your extra deck.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. But
It's
sometimes
really
it
good.
just makes your tier opponents go next if you just leave it on board and they can't clear it.
Especially if you have something to back it up, like if they try
Exactly.
to Dark Ruler it and you have the intervention trap.
Mhm.
Um, they just if they don't have another way to
They have to battle
get rid of
attack
it.
over it.
Yeah, it is relatively weak defense, to be fair,
Yeah.
but
At
then you're
at worst, you're
not
getting a
dying.
surge then, and you've used the
Yeah.
battle, so
Um, Baron, really good. You send stuff off of, so you send Herald or Entis off Diviner, and then use Fire to sync because this Diviner's then 6. Um, I think I might have made this once this weekend, but I definitely have used it a lot more and would definitely keep it in there. Um, if you can't afford this card, which is perfectly reasonable, um, what is it? Ready Rose Dragon banishes everything in both graveyards. That's a 10. I want to say Cheng Yang is also a pretty good level 10 that I ran before I had this. Um, yeah,
there's a couple of other
this
options. Yeah,
yeah, that was Cheng Yang was also before the ban list as well.
you'd
So you
probably
don't
just make a
really
rank 4 instead, though. Like
yeah,
switch it
at
over
this
to
point,
Manju.
yeah, it's like yeah. Dweller, really good. I don't think I had a good chance to use this weekend, but I would definitely keep playing it because Tier's really good.
Yeah,
Baguska, I summoned this after I went to combat and did a bunch of damage because I figured because they played Nib round or game 1, so I figured they might have a game 2, just in case, Um, Cowboy didn't come up. It has come up earlier in the weekend.
the attack
Um,
effect, right?
yeah, the attack. What does the attack effect even
It
give?
like it reduces your opponent's muster by 1,000, and then he gains 500. Or maybe I have that backwards. Maybe he gains 500 and
Yeah,
they lose
if this
500.
attacks an opponent's monster, it gains 1,000.
It can clear anything over like 3,000, or not over, but under. So
Yeah, it
I mean,
loses 500
it's
during
bad.
damage
It's
step.
not
Yeah,
good.
it could have come up. I used to play this on the side, but I made space because of having DD Sprite. And I mentioned Tornado Dragon earlier. Um, Pop Scythe with it. That's pretty much it. Um, Sprite Elf, you summon back Diviner. Diviner send Entis for a pop. Also some targeting protection, but I don't think I made this weekend at all. IP I used earlier in the weekend. Um, I summoned my I played Goddess in here, and so I used this for Goddess. I actually think I when I actually I'm misremembering. So I used my opponent's IP that they summoned
Oh,
to
not
make.
even this copy. Nice.
Yeah, so I like they had IP on board, and it's like I'll link it for Goddess, and it's like then I get the protection still.
Yeah, yeah.
Um, Dark, Lina, Kita. Sometimes these can come up. In my last regional flight, my guy played infinite hand traps. Like he literally had like three, four, five hand traps and would draw one, and it would be everything. It was disgusting. Um,
But they make
Previously
the
with
yeah, they make the Charmers live, which is pretty decent.
yeah, but if you can't play enough to get to a charmer, that's where it
Yeah,
sucks.
that's true.
Um, Kita and Lina used to be better when stuff like what do you want to call it? Veiler and Ash were good tuners to
Relevant.
target,
Hmm.
but Halka's banned, so tuners aren't as relevant. At least wanting to summon those. But I did actually Hita at one point to go into Unicorn to spin some stuff. So I did this at least once. And I already mentioned the goddess. I actually misplayed with this once. I forgot that it has an effect to negate stuff on the field when it's, I believe, when it's just summoned.
I
Um,
believe so. Yeah.
yeah, if it's link summoned, it negates all the effects. And I would have won one of my games if I had remembered that, because they had a 3200 gigantic,
Yeah, all of her
and
effects are
that
like randomly relevant, but
yeah,
we always just forget what they are.
I forget. It's got those secret effects
Yeah.
other than
Other than
uh,
link off opponent's monster.
yeah. Then we'll go to the side deck. Three Lava Golem came up exactly one time, and it was worth it because it was against a tier opponent, and they had the trap that would negate
So
stuff.
yeah, just clear all
Only
their
things,
tiers. Yep.
yep, they had two tiers because they missed all their stuff and had no fusions. So issue was then is that I had Diviner in my hand, so
You have
I
to pay.
used this, and then I didn't get my normal summon. Crossouts. I would side out like two Nib, two Ash going first, and include this in my sightings. Um, I don't think it came that specifically came up. It came up more times when I would draw this aside Nibiru or my other crossout target. I had another match in a different one
Well, they're already in your
where
hand. Yeah.
yeah, because you can't banish from your hand. I crossed out Prosperity because I was playing against Sprite, and that was the only cross out target I really had. But they still had stuff to play. Dark Ruler, because you'll still go against boards like Sprites, where you're gonna have to play a board breaker because hand traps aren't gonna do enough. Wish I would have gotten secrets, but I'll take 10 ultras because they're still
They're
shiny.
still nice.
Uh, Unlike these cosmic cyclones. However, I got these ones for free.
Let's
Um,
go.
uh, I was expecting a bit more runic, but I did see some this weekend. So cosmic's still good to get rid of random stuff. Um, yeah,
Yeah, it's just the
and then
best one in this format. Like
yeah,
runic
because the
cards
runic stuff.
protect. Yeah, it's
Mhm. And
gross.
then I, like I said before, three Tikaboo. If you can, all your Libromancers are different types, so you can play under Tikaboo very well. Only issues I had or previously where you would try to have like Barone and Agent on field, and they're both warriors, so you can't have both of them on field, which kind of sucks because if you need a six body, that can't be something you do. Also, what else was I going to say about this card? It's just really good. Floodgates are floodgates. Um, People have played mine previously. I used to play mine. I still have one copy, but I don't like playing it because I don't like the card. So I'd rather not contribute to the problem.
Yeah, I guess so. I mean, if you don't contribute to the problem, it's not going to be addressed. So I don't know. It's kind of like it's kind of an awkward
Well,
scenario, you know. But
oh yeah. Also, I'm realizing now. So there's some cards here I don't have or I don't play anymore. Terraforming because you already have like a ton of ways to get to your
yeah,
field
don't you have
spell.
9? Itelli,
Yes,
Geek Boy,
yeah.
and then
Etel
the
gets Geek
itself.
Boy. Geek Boy itself
Right.
gets itself.
So that's 9 ways
Um,
to get to it.
yep. Prosperity is technically like a halfway if you see it.
Yeah.
Um, Fire is a way to get to Geek Boy, which gets you to the field
Oh
spell.
yeah.
That's a common combo I'll do.
Maybe if you played the mine, the terraforming would be justifiable, but like even then.
Yeah, but you'd have to play mine.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, I do want to make one note. It's very, at least in our testing on the Discord, lots of people play more than 40. Like even this list is 41 cards. I think in Libromancer it is possible and reasonable to play, not exactly 40. If you go for a big 60 list, maybe consider Small World. But other than that, I think a lot of people are running stuff like 46 cards, 48 cards. And you don't have to stick with 40 with this deck because while there is some consistency issues, um, like a lot of the extra bulk comes from having hand traps and more interruptions. So it's not like you'll always brick. Um, but if you want to, I've had just issues where if I wanted to play hand traps, I'd have to break 40 because I have all of this other good stuff in there already.
Yeah, makes
So
sense.
I think that's my final notes about
Yeah. All
the
right.
cards.
Anything else? Any shout outs?
Yeah, I'd like to give a shout out to the Libromancer Discord. I'm a mod over there, so that's one reason. But there's a bunch of cool people over there, lots of friendly people willing to
Yeah,
help
sounds
you with
good.
the deck. I
You'll have
can just shoot a
to
link.
send me that link and I'll
Yeah, yeah,
put it in the
yeah.
description for sure.
Yeah, you actually had mentioned at one of the events that there was a opponent or someone that you saw playing it, and I got them to join. So we're recruiting by the day
Slowly recruiting. Yeah.
until we get that
One
liberal
by
sweep.
one. Yeah.
All right.
All right. Well, anything else to say?
No, that's it,
All right. Well, thanks for the profile and hope to see you again.
man.